Thank you to Chairman Timmons, and thank you for holding this hearing. I look forward to working together on the subcommittee and doing everything we can to ensure the safety and security of all Americans. And I also, want to make sure that this committee will support our military and foreign affairs personnel here and around the globe. And from our conversations, it sounds like that'll be a priority for this subcommittee. So I'm grateful for that. And they and their families make so many sacrifices to our country, and we thank them for their service. And I want to thank today's witnesses for appearing before the subcommittee to share their expertise as well. And protecting the American people against emerging global threats, ensuring America's national security, these are bipartisan issues. And we can agree that there are global threats to the safety and security of the United States and its allies. We can agree that we need a foreign policy that strengthens America's standing in the world, combats our adversaries, and counters extremism. And we agree that we need to be prepared for those threats. And preparation means having the tools, having the technology, and most importantly, having the very best and most qualified personnel to keep us safe and represent us on the world stage. But what I, and I think many others across the political spectrum, really are concerned about is this. Does this administration know who our adversaries really are, or who our allies really are? Two, does it understand what it takes and all the things we need to do to protect us from emerging threats and strengthen our standing in the world? And three, does it know who it takes to be prepared for these threats? The personnel, the seasoned diplomats, the military experts, the technology experts. I have some doubts, honestly, even in these first few weeks of the administration, and so do many others. And let's start with really defining who our allies and adversaries really are, because I think there's some confusion, and I can't believe we have to do this, but here we go. Russia is not our friend. Vladimir Putin is not a trustworthy partner. They do not want integration and cooperation with us. They want an independent sphere of influence that destabilizes Europe. China is not our friend. The CCP is also not a trusted partner, not to mention their abhorrent record on human rights. Europe is not our enemy. We have similar goals, shared values, and most importantly, many decades of mutual trust and cooperation with the goal of global peace and stability. Mexico is not our enemy. They're not only a trusted ally, but their cooperation is integral when it comes to border security and fighting cartels. Canada is not our enemy, at least not outside the hockey rink. They are a trusted ally, so why are we threatening to annex them right now? So let's ask the question of what it takes to be prepared for emerging global threats and how the U.S. can be a reliable partner in the world. The answer is not erratic and unpredictable foreign policy. The answer is not making and breaking promises to our allies. The answer is not betraying our allies, signaling to them that we are an unreliable partner. If our allies believe that they cannot rely on us, they will stop sharing critical intelligence. That is a threat to our country. Intelligence sharing with our allies is a critical part of protecting America's national security. And how do we expect to strengthen our ties and build trust if we're actively declaring trade wars on our allies, or if we're supporting fringe extremist groups in their elections, or if we're baselessly calling our democratically elected allies dictators? And finally, is this administration ensuring that we have the personnel, the institutional knowledge, and the expertise to quickly and effectively respond to emerging threats? This is what's happening right now is a brain drain in the federal government. The shuttering of agencies and the disdain for our civil servants is a huge threat to our national security and actively goes against the goal of preparing the country for emerging threats. How do we respond to emerging global threats when our president does not even seem to understand who our threats are or how we stop them? Instead of protecting our national security, he's mimicking the propaganda of our authoritarian adversaries in some cases, sending mixed signals to the world about what we stand for, and firing the best people who are positioning us to keep us safe. So I hope the members of this committee share my desire to conduct true oversight to further our shared goals of keeping our country safe and prosperous, because this administration's foreign policy, even to date, is essentially surrendering to our emerging threats, not addressing them head on. It's making us weaker, less prepared, and it threatens our future and makes Americans less safe. So I yield back.